Hello and welcome to my channel and my creative space. Now, one of the things I do find very important as a filmmaker is keeping my equipment up to date. And I'm doing so by downloading and installing the latest firmware from the respective manufacturers. Now, this ensures any new features on your products and it also corrects for errors and so on. So I find it a very important process in my business. Now, obviously, updating firmware from equipment to equipment and manufacturer to manufacturer, that varies, and it varies a lot. And sometimes it is confusing. And it's also a bit confusing on this Tascam CA XLR2D module, which I'm going to show how to update the firmware on today. Now, do not do what I did, because I almost broke this module trying to locate the USB port. Now, updating the firmware on the model is done by using a USB cable. This is a micro USB to a regular USB, so you need this cable to be able to update the module itself. Now, in a different video, I went over all the features and all the ports and terminals on the model itself, so I knew there was no USB on this model, and I thought, where is it? So the only place it could be was hidden underneath the battery compartment, and it is. And this is where we have to be a little bit careful, because I think this is a bit hard and you have to be very careful not to break anything. But on the front, there is a locking lever or a locking button. So you push this in and then you can lift the compartment straight up like this. Don't do what I did, because I almost broke it trying to do it this way. You just lift it straight up like this. Now, and that will reveal the USB port underneath, as you can see here. The other electrical contact points, that is for this one, the battery compartment itself, so that obviously transfers the power from the batteries to the module. So it's really quite straightforward once you know how to do it. I couldn't find this in a manual, so I just had to fumble my way along. But what you do is you take this USB cable and you just plug it in like this, and that's basically all you have to do. And then obviously you plug this one in the other end of the computer. I am on a Mac, so I'm going to show you how to do this right now. So here we are on Tascam's website, and we have located the Canon kit, the CA XLR2D model, which you can see here. So let's just click that support button, and we can immediately notice there is a firmware called version 1.12. So that's the one we're looking to get. So let's just scroll down a bit. I am on a Mac, so obviously I want to choose the latest firmware and hit that button. And it says, do you want to archive this file? Yes, I do, because it's just a regular zip file. So I should hit archive. And that will start the downloading process, as we can see here in our Finder. So that one is done. Double click on it and you will find your regular DMG file. Double click on that one and that will take us to the CA XLR2D firmware app, which is the app we want to install to get our firmware running. And you will get a warning message saying this is a downloaded file from internet. Do you want to open it? Yes, I want to, because I trust Tascam. And this takes us to the firmware updater. And let's hit firmware update. And this will take us to the firmware update information site. Now, as you can see, I am on version 1.0, so shame on me for not updating this sooner, as the current version is version 1.12. So you want to update this firmware? Yes, I do. So let's hit OK. And now it starts preparing, and it's sending the firmware update file through the Tascam XLR module. So we're just about done, and it's checking the file, and now it's updating the firmware on the module itself. Now this takes about a minute. There's a little process it has to go through, where it's checking and updating and sending all the files to the model to make sure it works correctly. It is a bit confusing, because I would like to say we are now updating the firmware version 1.12, or the firmware you are on. But anyway, at the end of the process, we get a message that says completed. Please turn the device's power on again. This is where I would like to say the firmware has been successfully updated to the version you are currently updating to. So let's just hit the firmware update button. And now we can see we are on version 1.12. Do you want to further update to version 1.12? Now, this is where I think it is a bit confusing. Now, obviously, I have just updated the model, so I don't want to do that. So now we're just going to hit the cancel button, and we're going to unhook the module from my computer and put it back on the camera and see if everything works okay. So now that we have the module updated, it's time to install it back on the camera. That is really very simple. But what you have to do is, and be a little careful about this, you have to push this all the way in. So you just take the adapter like this, push it all the way in, and then on the back there is a locking lever. So you just switch this one until you hear that little click, and then the module is back on to the camera and we can start setting up our audio settings. So I do hope you did find this little video helpful. If you did in any way, please consider subscribing to my channel. There's a lot more content like this coming. Please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one, and have a nice day.